Welcome back, Professor Caps. Today we're doing the kinetic sand experiment. I've got Tottenham blue sand. They won today, so it's a good day to be a Tottenham fan. Bad day to be a Burnley fan, because they're going back down. They're getting relegated. Anyways, I've looked around the internet for a few other recipes that work well for kinetic sand. The one that I found that seems to work the best is a variant of the first recipe that was posted for us. It's cornstarch and dish soap. Sorry, it's all right here. Sorry if I'm a little low-key or sound gross. Allergies into asthma into now it feels like sinus infection and constant draining. Can't get ahead of it. And on top of that, it's been freaking crazy at work. Just trauma after trauma after trauma. It really drains you mentally, physically, spiritually, but neither here nor there. Okay, so blue sand, and to this blue sand, we're going to add cornstarch. Now, the recipe I saw, it makes a lot, so I halved everything. This is 1/2 cup of sand. This is 1 cup of cornstarch. So let's go ahead and add that. It's not like cornstarch makes a mess or anything. I'm telling my wife it's your fault. No, I'm not. This looks like fun. They say to mix this up real good. Maybe I should have grabbed a spoon. I'm going to cut, grab a spoon, mix this up. I'll see you back when it's mixed. All right, we're back. Our cornstarch is mixed in pretty well. I don't think I've ever worked with cornstarch before. It is very light and airy, and the sand even has that feel already. I guess maybe some foreshadowing, who knows. So then we take some water and we add some dish soap. Take that water, add that dish soap, dish soap. And then the lady that you gave us in the video, her downfall seemed to be that she added way too much water. So we are going to add water at a very slow rate and mix well. This dish soap is acting funny. Just dawn. Okay, anyways, let's add some water and make our magic sand. Okay. There's some water. I'm going to keep doing this process as well. I'll come back to you when it's done. All right. It actually took quite a while. Mixing a little bit of water in and then messing with it, then mixing a little bit more water in and messing with it. It starts off thick, like it's gritty, sandy, punching through it. It doesn't start off thick. It starts off just like gritty, then it gets thicker. I might be at a place where I could add more water to it, and it might be better, but I honestly don't want to ruin it. And where I'm at now, it's kind of hard to see for you, especially me wearing a white or a blue shirt on blue sand. But I can feel it flowing in my hands. It's not like the most fast thing, but the real stuff's not fast either. I've got kids. We have this in our house, and I hate it with passion. It gets everywhere, even though it's supposed to be not get everywhere type stuff. The reason why I think maybe I should add a little bit more water to it is because non-gloved hand. It's still got a break factor in it. Like I can just kind of slice it off, really almost perfect slices. I think maybe a little more water would make it a little more flowy instead of breaky. Honestly, I don't remember if the real kinetic sand breaks like that. It might. Anyways, we've got our kinetic sand. It is flowy, very slowly. If I squeeze it, it flows better. Anyways, we got our kinetic sand. It's pretty good. Sounds good as the real stuff, but that's kind of what was to be expected. Every reviewer I saw said the same thing. It's cool. Let me get clean up this area, and we'll talk the science. So the science part of our kinetic sand. And I could be wrong, but I've done some. Obviously, it's not in that lady's video because that lady is a silly goose. I don't know why he gave us that video. It was terrible. Anyways, the science of what I think is going on. We look at the starches. Starch is a polymer of glucose, chains of glucose. And when it's in that powder form, obviously it can't bind. So we add the sand to something for it to be around, and then we add the dish soap and the water, which will allow the chains of glucose to bind to one another in that environment. And once you get out of these long chains, this polymer of starch that has longer chains of glucose, what gives it the ability to hold together and stretch and bend and be pliable. But even now, as we're seeing, as my kinetic sand is drying out, it's much more crumbly now than it was when I first made it. As it dries out, those bonds of starch, the starch polymers, are starting to give way. They're no longer bound together. I could not find out if that was a function of the dish soap, function of the water, and there was different recipes as well. So I don't know. I don't know how the different recipes worked. Mine is like an oobleck style recipe, but that's what I've come up with. That's how I think it works. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Sorry, back one more time. I just thought I'd add in, talk a little bit about the real kinetic sand. The real kinetic sand is a silicone polymer called dimethylsiloxane. That's right. The real kinetic sand is that silicone polymer mixed with fine sand. I read somewhere on the internet that it was like 98% sand and then 2% the silicone polymer. So they also use a polymer to help keep things together. I'm guessing the sand is there for like the fun flowy factor. That dimethylsiloxane is the same stuff silly putty is made out of, and we understand silly putty kind of have that same pulley, flowy, kind of like a solid feel to it due to those polymer chains being long. Oddly enough, silly putty also has the same break factor. You can snap silly putty in half if you do it right. Silly putty is bouncy, where mine is not, but obviously they have a lot more of. They have a silicon polymer, and I do not. I have starch. All right. Thank you very much.